Our conversation, Florida Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz, he gave an emotional speech earlier today on Capitol Hill about a moment that unites him with Fred forever. It's also mentioned in Fred's book, Find the Helpers, What 9/11 and Parkland Taught Me About Recovery, Purpose, and Hope. Congressman Jared Moskowitz, tell me the story that unites you guys.
Well, thanks, Nicole. On February 14th, as I was, traveling home because I was on the floor of the State House when the shooting happened at my high school, my wife called me and said that, Sam was at preschool. They were on lockdown. My initial response was, go and get him. And I would later find out, obviously, that 17 people didn't make it out of the building, most of them children. And Sam was in a writing class because, he's 4 years old, and we were trying to teach him how to write his name. And that class was taught by Jen Guttenberg, who worked with kids who, struggled with their fingers trying to write their name. And when they went into lockdown, Jen put Sam in a closet, which is, the protocol that kids have to deal with now when there's an alert. And so while she was with my son at a preschool around the corner from Douglas, her daughter was killed.
Congressman, my son is 11 and has grown up. I think he was 3 when he did his first lockdown drill in school. And I grew up in California, so I did earthquake drills, and that was scary, but nothing compared to how our children are being raised, right? And those are the lucky ones that just drill for it and never lived through it. What do you think we owe a generation of children being raised from the age of 3 to learn how to hide in a closet?
Well, it's funny, Nicole, Sam doesn't know that story. He doesn't remember it. He doesn't know why he was in a closet. In fact, he still doesn't really understand, why he goes into a closet when they do their practice drills. But the truth is that, he was 4 when that happened. 5 years later, next week from the shooting, he's 9. All the kids that didn't make it out of the building they're teenagers forever. And the generation of kids that went through that at Douglas, or went through that at Uvalde, or went through that at Newtown, or went through that at countless other places, these kids are traumatized. And the mental health aspects when they go through these tragic events, we really don't yet understand the cost this is going to hold on the generation of kids that have to live with a real life event, that they're not safe at school, they're not safe at a movie theater, they're not safe at a grocery store, because we allow people to have guns that should never have them in the first place.
I loved that the president talked about what social media companies are doing to our kids. I wish we could have a conversation about raising the first generation of active shooter drill kids is doing to our kids.
It's actually normalized the idea that they should expect gun violence. That's the crazy thing.
Which is so sick.
It's so sick. And it's because a generation of politicians, many of whom are still in office, and again, I go back to Kevin sitting behind the president, have allowed it to get to this place. We are now raising a generation of kids who are growing up thinking, I have to expect gun violence, so I have to be prepared. And certain states that have gone too far, of course, like Texas, are now preparing parents even further by sending home DNA test kits instead of dealing with gun violence.
Are you optimistic that more can be done? You always give President Biden his due for signing into law the most significant piece of legislation in 30 years, but we clearly need more. Are you confident we'll do more?
We must on a national level, because unfortunately, people talk about borders and the border crisis. Yeah. For me, the true border crisis is right here in America between the states. The red states that have permissive gun laws and blue states that are trying to do something about it. I live in a red state that is trying to make it more likely that gun violence will happen. They're actually actively having hearings now to pass deadly legislation. And so it must happen on a national level. And am I hopeful? Hell yeah. In the past 3 elections, we've elected more gun safety people. People like Jared, who, while Florida was a disaster, Jared got elected. And in the next election, you know what? we'll take back the House, we'll hold the Senate, and we will keep the presidency, and we can pass legislation.
It's so nice to have you here. You're coming back with the book, right?
I will be back with the book in May.
Okay, it's so nice. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Congressman. You're welcome to join us at the table too anytime. Thank you both for spending time with us.
Thanks, Nicole.
Quick break for us. We'll be right back.